And I have sent her.
So Rupa ma'am, what about me then?
We are all live. YouTube live.
Let's mute ourselves first.
Hello, good morning, everybody.
Good morning,
Am I
sir.
audible? Yeah.
Good morning, sir. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning,
So,
everyone.
Miss Rupam is the cheapest.
Yes.
Has
Good
joined.
morning, sir.
Has
Yes,
she joined?
Yes, sir. Yes,
All
sir.
right.
She has
Has-
joined. We are starting, sir. We are starting.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Miss Simran. Morning,
Good
Director
morning,
sir.
sir.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning,
Good
sir.
morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning,
everybody.
sir.
Good morning,
Please,
sir.
you can
Good
start.
morning, sir.
Thank you. Good
Start.
morning.
So
Good
let's
morning.
begin.
Good morning,
please.
sir.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, Principal, sir. Good morning, Director, sir, all the HMs. A very warm good morning to all of you who have joined us today. The United Nations was set up to conquer hunger, disease, illiteracy, poverty, and to encourage respect among all. Thus, it should focus on delivery rather than process, and on people rather than bureaucracy. It is the only hope for a peaceful and free world. Keeping these cardinal tenets in mind, we welcome you all to the second edition of Ahlcon Youth MUN. I would now request my co-compares, Prakriti and Isha, to take you forward on this enriching journey.
You must be the change you wish to see in the world, quoted Mahatma Gandhi. A hearty welcome to one and all present here with us today. Model United Nations is an educational simulation of the United Nations where participants represent the delegates of various nations across the world. It helps an individual in developing their leadership qualities, public speaking skills, and teamwork. This activity not only brings out a budding talented speaker in us, but also sensitizes the students about the current events happening around the world and helps them to become a global citizen. We at Alcon try to impart holistic education to the students to ensure that they develop quest for knowledge, broad range of multifarious skills, and an open-minded outlook to confront and adapt to the ever-changing dynamic society. Keeping that motto in view, we all look forward to your enthusiastic participation in the second version of Alcon Youth MUN. Now, let us together invoke the blessings of Lord Ganesha.
एकदन्तं विनायकं विघ्नहरं भज गजाननम् एकदन्तं विनायकं विघ्नहरं भज गजाननं मूषिकवाहन गजाननं मोदकहस्त गजाननं वामनरूप गजाननं महेश्वरपुत्र गजाननं विघ्नविनायक गजाननं पादनमस्ते गजाननं एकदन्तं विनायकं विघ्नहरं भज गजाननम् एकदन्तं विनायकं विघ्नहरं भज गजाननम् एकदन्तं विनायकं विघ्नहरं भज गजाननम्.
After this lovely invocation of Lord Ganesha, we feel privileged to extend our warm welcome on behalf of Ahlcon Public School to all our honorable guests, chief guests, and the executive board members.
It is indeed a matter of pride for us to have Ms. Simran Kohli with us. I also cordially welcome the Director, Ahlcon Schools, Dr. Ashok Kumar Pandey, Principal, Ahlcon International School, Mr. Sanjay Yadav, Principal, Ahlcon Public School, Dr. Deepak Raj Singh Bish, Manager, Mr. P.K. Bhatnagar, Administrative Officer, Mr. Vikram Rawat. I also welcome the respected HMs, delegates, and the dear teachers. Now I take the opportunity to introduce our chief guest of the day, Ms. Simran Kohli. Ms. Simran was part of Ahlcon's graduating class of 2017. She then went on to study journalism and mass communication at the Vivekanand Institute of Professional Studies and graduated with a first-class bachelor's degree in 2020. Since then, she has worked at HarperCollins Publishers. She currently works as an academic reviewer for the Arts, Media, and Communication Center of Excellence at Cactus Global, where she edits the research papers for publications in international journals. We welcome you, ma'am. Now, I would like to request our respected principal, Dr. Deepak Raj Singh Bish, to address the gathering.
Thank you, Isa. Good morning, everyone. Honorable Chief Guest for the day, Ms. Simran Kohli, respected Director, Ahlcon Group of Schools, Principal, Ahlcon International School, Manager, Ahlcon Schools, HM, Ahlcon Schools, Club Convener, delegates, members of Organizing Committee, faculty members, and dear students. It is a great sense of pride and honor that I welcome you all to the second edition of Ahlcon Youth Model United Nations. The Ahlcon Youth Model United Nations was envisioned and created by our students last year, Pragya, Dipanshu, Aditya, and the team. And the same set of students are taking it forward this year as well. These students' leaders have worked very hard to ensure an excellent conference for all delegates. And I'm confident that this is what you will experience over the next 2 days. The underlying philosophy of the Ahlcon Model United Nations is A, to recognize the importance of the United Nations in the international system. B, to help participants gain a proper perspective of global affairs and to develop debating and negotiating skills in them. So this learning experience acquaints the participants with the pressing global issues faced by the world community. At its core, this conference is not just about Model United Nations, but about the immense capacity of the youth. More specifically, it is a clear demonstration of the transformative power of our students. So thank you, Pragya, Dipanshu, and Aditya, and the entire organizing team for the great work you people have done to prepare this for this day. You make us proud. Dear delegates, your deliberations undoubtedly help you face the manifold challenges of life. Your ability to convert every challenge into opportunity will decide your own future and the future of the world. In order to move to a future with peace, justice, and prosperity, talented and thoughtful people must engage in crafting a better world and brighter future. And I'm happy to see that youth taking an initiative and actively participating. I wish all the delegates an enriching experience. Thank you everyone for your gracious presence. We are honored to have you here. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your inspirational and encouraging words. Ahlcon Public School has always striven to create young leaders. The institution has been enlightening students not only through formal education, but also through its fests like Silico Battles, E-Combat, and Science Fest like Invention with the motto, Light to Enlighten. Today, we are proud to bring to you the second version of Ahlcon Youth MUN. We now present to you a short video giving an overview of the second Ahlcon Youth MUN prepared by our IT team.
The Ahlcon Youth MUN encourages the participation of students from different institutions from all over India to unleash their talent. It cultivates an atmosphere where we also learn to contribute for the welfare of the society. The students are going to interact with some of the most experienced executive board of the circuit, whom the delegates are surely going to adore. This edition of Ahlcon Youth MUN comprises of 5 different committees, namely
Lok Sabha with the speaker as Mr. Naman Jain. Mr. Naman Jain is a fifth-year law student pursuing BBA LLB from Delhi Metropolitan Education, Noida. He has been actively participating in MUNs and youth parliaments. Having immense interest in law, his forte is in Indian committees. Next, we have Mr. Soham Ahuja with us today as the Deputy Speaker of Lok Sabha. Mr. Soham Ahuja, an RJ by hobby and an engineer by profession, is also a fiery MUNer. After serving as an intern in the policy, advocacy and research team at the UN, he is currently working as an associate consultant after completing his BTech degree in electronics and communication from JUIT Shimla. He has participated and chaired more than 27 group discussions and more than 50 MUNs.
the next committee we have is the United Nations Human Rights Council with Mr. Dhruv Jain as the president. Mr. Dhruv Jain is a fresh graduate from Delhi Technological University and has just completed his bachelor's in technology, majoring in the electrical domain. Deliberations via platforms such as Model UN simulations have always been close to his heart, and he's looking forward to the UNHRC simulation. Next, we have Ms. Zahina Naqvi as the Vice President of UNHRC. Ms. Zahina Naqvi, who is currently pursuing history honors from Jesus and Mary College, Delhi University, has been an active member of the MUN circuit for more than 3 years. She is an exceptionally good orator with great analytical skills, which makes her a perfect match for the position of an ED member.
The third committee is United Nations Commission on Status of Women with Mr. Dhaval as the chairperson. Mr. Dhaval is a second-year law student from Symbiosis Law School, Pune. He started doing MUNs a few years back and since then has served in the capacity of a delegate, an executive board member, and a secretariat member. He believes that Model United Nations is a program which truly has the power to provide new perspectives through delegation representation and to bring people together beyond just being delegates. Next, we have Ms. Jyotika Toma with us today as the Vice Chairperson of UNCSW. Ms. Jyotika Tomar is a first-year undergraduate student of history at Lady Shriram College. Through her engagement with Ahlcon MUN in the capacity of the Vice Chairperson of the United Nations Commission on Status of Women, she hopes to create a space for critical thinking, cultivating empathy and meaningful engagement with diverse perspectives.
The next committee is the United Nations General Assembly with Mr. Pritish Roy as the chairperson. An alumnus of Ahlcon Public School, he is a fourth-year law student at Guru Gobind Singh Indraprastha University, Delhi, currently a judicial intern to Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, Judge of the Supreme Court. Being one of the initial members to inculcate the MUN culture at Ahlcon, he has been part of numerous conferences at both national and international levels. Next, we have Mr. Varun Sirpal with us today as the Vice Chairperson of the UNGA. Mr. Varun Sirpal is a fourth-year student pursuing his Bachelor's in Technology at Delhi Technological University. He has served as the Secretary General for Dell Tech MUN 2021. He has been an active member of the MUN circuit for the past 6 years, having attended a plethora of conferences both as a delegate and as an executive board member. The fifth and the last committee is International Press with Mr. Kabir Singh Bedi as the head. Mr. Kabir Singh Bedi is the editor-in-chief for this MUN conference. Being an experienced journalist, he has had a really good experience in international press till now. Apart from being a voracious reader, he is also an amazing writer and is an avid speaker.
Now, I invite Dipanshu, Director General, to address the participants.
Thank you, Prakriti. A very good morning to everyone. I'm Dipanshu, present here as the Director General for the second edition of Ahlcon Youth MUN. First and foremost, I would like to extend my warm greetings to all the dignitaries who have joined us today, respected Director Sir, Principal Sir, HMs, and all the teachers. I would also like to convey my greetings to our chief guest for the day, Ms. Simran Kohli. It is always an honor to speak in front of such distinguished personalities, and it becomes a bit more special for me when I'm asked to speak for Ahlcon's MUN, because it's something that has been recently sowed, something that I have seen growing in front of me. It's like nurturing a child where there's no looking back. I remember when the dates for this event had to be put up on the school calendar, none of us ever thought of the surprises the central board had brought for us now. But as it is said, no smooth sea has made a skillful sailor. We accepted this challenge as an opportunity, hoping that this obstacle would turn into a stepping stone. And here we are today. I'm sure I can say this on behalf of the entire organizing committee that we are truly overwhelmed to see how our dedication and hard work has culminated in the form of this inaugural ceremony, one of its own kind that we have meticulously planned for you. All 5 committees simulated at Ahlcon Youth MUN 2.0 have been reserved with a set of current global agendas, trends, and issues. Chaired in the supervision of highly esteemed executive board members, this year's conference promises new heights to your analytical skills, a learning process worth experiencing. With this, I seek your leave, and to all our delegates, I wish you a great experience. Thank you. Over to you, Prakriti.
Thank you, Dipanshu. Now, may I request our Honorable Director of Ahlcon Group of Schools, Dr. Ashok Kumar Pandey, to address the virtual gathering.
Thank you. Thank you, Prakriti. The chief guest, Ms. Simran Kohli, Principal Dr. Deepak, Principal Mr. Sanjay, Director General of Ahlcon MUN, the organizing committee, the executive board. It's very impressive and experienced members, members of faculty, students, ladies and gentlemen. It is a great honor to be here with you on the second edition of your MUN. When you started the first one, of course, I'm sure, since the team was more or less the same, I can imagine the kind of difficulties and challenges you might have faced. And the same team, how elated and delighted you feel today when you are able to deliver the same thing in your second edition. And by doing so, you have set a very nice trend for your institution. And I'm sure the coming generations will remember you for this fine legacy that you will be leaving behind. So I congratulate you for that. I congratulate Dr. Deepak and his team for initiating such a marvelous activity in the calendar of your great institution. United Nations evokes very, very fine, sentimental, connective feeling in all of us. At the age of 75, United Nations has its history of making and delivering its promises to the world. When we sit back at the periphery, we are at liberty, and we have the privilege and right to criticize what it has achieved and what it has not. But on the balance of it, I think United Nations have made a great contribution in keeping this world united, in making things equitable as much as they could, in making peace a real experience for a whole lot of people in the world, reaching out to the conflict zones and reaching out to the young women and children who do not have a state of their own. I'm narrating all these things to the young people present here, just to give you an idea, the kind of challenges that this world faces. Today, United Nations faces two serious challenges. One, from many quarters in the world, there is a criticism that United Nations is not inclusive and it needs to expand its base and invite more participation. And the second criticism is, though you are taking part in the United Nations MUN and a large number of youth are participating, but the fact remains that some cynicism in the minds of the young men and women is developing as to what is the real role of the United Nations. I think as young people, you have to combat both the challenges and you have to take this institution forward so that it is able to fulfill the original mandate that it has. Today, when I see your committees, the General Assembly, the Council for Committee for the Status of Women, the Human Rights, the international press, it gives me a great satisfaction that you are very awakened, you are very alert about the things that are bothering this world. I'm also very happy that in one of the committees, a very dear friend of mine, Kabir Bedi, is heading the IP. I have seen him after a long time, and I'm so happy that he's doing so well. India has played a very, very important role. And as Indians, I'm sure you would know it and you will take a lot of pride out of it. India's contribution in peacemaking in the world, India's recent contribution in reaching out to the whole world with vaccine. And earlier, before the vaccine arrived, a lot of material which was helpful in combating the COVID, like masks and PPEs. That is the recent contribution that India has made. India has also made a very, very significant contribution in brokering peace among the warring factions across the world. Today, if you read the newspaper, India has achieved a historic feat of vaccinating 1 billion people. Now, you just imagine, it is not a figure confined to India alone. 1 billion out of 7.5 billion people on this earth. So how much it affects the world statistics, you can just imagine it. And therefore, India is a large country. India is an important country. India as a country which has led the world since the ancient time has a very, very important role to play to achieve sustainability. At young age, you are aware of sustainable developmental goals. One of your committees, status of women, is directly connected to it because the world cannot sustain if 50% of its population is not taken care of and not given equal rights. And that is enshrined in goal number 5 of Sustainable Developmental Goals. But preceding this was Millennium Developmental Goals. And now this goal is to be achieved by 2030. We might miss it by a couple of years due to a variety of reasons, mainly the pandemic, which has hit us very hard. But I'm very sure that 10 years, 15 years down the line, when you reach a leadership position, you will be sitting in the United Nations and in the multilateral bodies spread across the world. And you will not be discussing only about sustainability of the world, but you will be discussing about the thriving and flourishing of every human being on this planet. And imagine by the time that situation comes, there will be almost 10 billion inhabitants on this world. And therefore, my request to the young people present today is that you have to have that big picture. You have to derive strength from the top leadership. You have to derive strength from those who have done a great job. You have to derive inspiration from your own leaders. You have to derive inspiration from some of the facts that India has stood by Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. India has stood by Sarve Bhavantu Sukhna. And India has stood by the fact that all of us have to move from the darkness and ignorance to enlightenment and light. So it is in this context that I exhort you, I appeal to you that you have your role very well cut out. You have to play a sterling leadership role in the world. Very recently, you must have heard about the very fine speech which was delivered by one of the youngest Indian Foreign Service officers, Ms. Neha Dubey. The kind of poise and calm and confidence and the great articulation with which she delivered the message on behalf of India should be for you a role model, and should be a role model for anybody who wants to be a great communicator. So I take this opportunity to congratulate all of you. I'm looking forward to the report. I'm looking forward to the recommendations that will be coming forth at the end of the 2 days meet that you are having. And I'm sure your report and your recommendations and your experience will mark its presence in the annals of MUNs across the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your words of wisdom. Now, I request our chief guest, Ms. Simran Kohli, to enlighten the delegates.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I am so honored to be invited to be among giants. My speech is following them, and so I will keep it short. I think they said everything that needed to be said and more. I apologize, I've lost my voice. For those of you who have interacted with me before, you can attest that I don't always sound like this. Right off the bat, I first want to express how impressed I am with the student organizing committee at Ahlcon. Dipanshu and the rest, you guys are doing an amazing job. This is a hard enough job to do in normal circumstances, and you guys have executed it virtually, which is complex in ways that were unimaginable like a year and a half ago. So well done. You should all be so proud of yourselves. To the participants, I am so glad to see that so many people, so many of you in high school are showing an enthusiasm for MUNs, because they will not only teach you that your actions and the actions of governments around the world have consequences in the real world and what they are, but this for you is essentially a 2-day crash course in the skills of presentation and collaboration and negotiation. And what you learn here will help you so much in college and internships, in jobs, arguably even more than the grades and the academic stuff, which is not to say that you shouldn't religiously attend your classes. I could get into a lot of trouble for implying that. But I am so excited that you're all here and that you're pumped about talking about global issues on a platform like this. And I look forward to seeing the spirited debates that you will have in your various committees. I'm sure you will be brilliant. Best of luck.
Thank you, ma'am, for your motivating words. Now, we'd like to make an announcement. All the delegates, I repeat, all the delegates are requested to rename themselves with the allotted portfolio and committee names before joining their respective breakout rooms only, just after the opening ceremony. Thank you. Now, I invite Aditya Mehrotra, Secretary General, to address the gathering and declare the conference open.
Thank you, Pragati. I hope I'm audible enough. Distinguished guests, delegates, and our dear teachers, let me offer you a very special welcome and say what a tremendous honor it is for us to host you all at Ahlcon Youth MUN 2.0. I must tell you that I'm both pleased and impressed to be surrounded by so many bright and inspirational young people. I also want to appreciate you all for registering for a MUN, because in today's world, letting your thoughts known to the people is a very difficult task. To simplify this, MUN stimulations take place. These conferences not only develop your speaking skills, but play a critical role in enhancing your thinking abilities. They tend to intensify your diplomatic skills, which can lead to solving of some real life problems which look harder to solve. This year, we have tried to build an environment in which each and every delegate can upgrade and update themselves. For this, we have provided them with one of the best executive board members and a very hard working organizing committee. The agendas have been set in a way that they are up to date with the current world situation and are also covering some important topics like peace, electoral reforms, and equality. I'm sure that these young minds of yours will produce some quality solutions and resolutions, which can be indeed be the stepping stones of the policy formations in times to come. Just remember that winning and losing is a part of life, but the essential part is learning. So, as Leonardo da Vinci said, learning is the only thing mind never exhausts, never fears, and never regrets. I, Aditya Mehrotra, the Secretary General of Ahlcon Youth MUN 2.0, declare the conference open. Over to you, Pragati.
Thank you, Aditya. Now, I request everyone to please turn on their videos for a group photograph. Thank you. We express our heartfelt thanks to all the luminaries who joined us for today's opening ceremony. We hope to see you again tomorrow for the closing ceremony. Thanks once again.
Thank you. Thank you, Prakriti, Isha, and Sujata ji. Congratulations to the team and my best wishes.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, Deepak.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
sir.
Congratulations,
Kabir, how are you? Can you say hello to me?
Hi, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, you are. You are. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too, sir. Please bestow your best blessings